Young Sheldon explains Big Bang Theory's Leonard Nimoy and Stan Lee twists. Hello everyone, my name is Alana. Welcome to my channel. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And give this video a like. Up the Big Bang Theory narrative bombshell regarding Sheldon's relationship with Leonard Nimoy and Stan Lee was just revealed in Young Sheldon Season 6. Sheldon is most interested in pop culture, especially Star Trek and Marvel, in addition to his scientific endeavors. As a result, he held Nimoy, who portrayed Sheldon's favorite Spock, and Lee, who founded Marvel Comics and produced other well-known fictional characters, in high regard. The fact that Nimoy and Lee both had restraining orders against Sheldon was unexpected. Young Sheldon Season 6 finally reveals why, 3 years after The Big Bang Theory concluded. Even though the family sitcom's title character is a socially awkward genius, Sheldon has turned into Young Sheldon's worst character. Not because he has grown more obnoxious, but rather because of the way he has been woven into the plot. He's generally at East Texas Tech taking care of his own business, while the rest of the Coopers cope with domestic problems like George and Mary's job troubles and Georgie and Mandy's difficult pregnancy predicament. He doesn't belong on his own show because of this. In order to address that, Young Sheldon Season 6 introduces a school narrative line that involves his parents. Related, George's character arc is significantly contradicted by Young Sheldon Season 6. Sheldon starts the process of launching his project after considering the notion of creating a grant database. Unfortunately for him, things have gotten considerably more complicated because of Dr. Linkletter and others who are attempting to use him for their own ends. In the Young Sheldon Season 6 fall finale, he presents Sheldon with an authentic signature from Richard Feynman in an attempt to persuade him to give him credit for the database idea. At first, the socially awkward genius is ecstatic, but then he realizes it's from a restraining order, which he interprets as a really great way to get autographs. Sheldon himself states that he will remember this unconventional notion, which seems to account for the restraining orders he has received from two of his greatest inspirations, Nimoy and Lee. Therefore, this raises the possibility that Sheldon may have been purposefully harassing the individuals he looks up to in order to obtain signed restraining orders for them. Even though it's plausible that his overeagerness and lack of self-awareness may cause him to do odd things. It's a peculiar yet clever method of obtaining what he desires from people, and it suits his disposition. CBS insists that the shows take place in the same reality. Thus, even though TBD2's Sheldon is worse than Young Sheldon, and its version of the Cooper genius, they are still the same person. It's likely that Sheldon gained the confidence he needed to utilize this tactic after moving to Pasadena, even if he didn't use it while he was in Texas. In addition to Nimoy and Lee, Carl Sagan, Bill Nye, and possibly even Zachary Quinto issued restraining orders against him. There are likely more given how successful Dr. Linkletter's restraining order system is, but these are the only ones that were made public on The Big Bang Theory. Everything you thought you knew about Leonard Nimoy and Stan Lee's appearances on The Big Bang Theory has just been turned upside down. If you're a Big Bang Theory superfan, you probably remember the unforgettable cameos of Leonard Nimoy and Stan Lee that had us all laughing and scratching our heads. But what if we told you that Young Sheldon, the precocious little genius who's been captivating audiences for years, just dropped a major revelation that changes everything you thought you knew about these iconic appearances? Buckle up, because you're about to get hit with the ultimate twist in Big Bang lore, and Young Sheldon's involvement in this mind-blowing mystery will leave you speechless. If you've been living under a rock, or perhaps just missed that episode, you'll recall that Leonard Nimoy's appearance on The Big Bang Theory was more than just a guest cameo. In Season 2, Episode 12, titled The Financial Permeability, Sheldon Cooper, the very embodiment of geekdom, is handed a highly coveted gift. a signed napkin from the legendary Spock himself, Leonard Nimoy. It's a moment that sent Big Bang fans into a frenzy. But what you probably didn't realize at the time is that Nimoy's cameo was a secret nod to a much bigger Big Bang Theory conspiracy that young Sheldon has just unveiled. Thanks to the wisdom of Sheldon Cooper's younger counterpart, we now understand that Nimoy's Big Bang appearance was far from a simple celebrity cameo. It was, in fact, a crucial part of the larger narrative arc that tied in not just Sheldon's obsession with sci-fi, but the very nature of how Sheldon perceives the world. In a jaw-dropping episode of Young Sheldon, Season 6, Episode 9, Sheldon gives a mind-blowing explanation about how Leonard Nimoy's signed napkin wasn't just an item of fandom, it was Sheldon's destiny. Yes, you heard that right. Young Sheldon, in his infinite wisdom, reveals that the napkin wasn't merely a prized possession to Sheldon, but the gateway to Sheldon's understanding of the universe. And it all ties back to his love of science fiction and logic. The twist? Sheldon reveals that the napkin holds more significance than we ever realized. It's not just about the autograph. It's a metaphor for Sheldon's intellectual journey, as he began to view his own life as a story driven by a narrative force, akin to a show or a movie. Young Sheldon further breaks down how this moment with Leonard Nimoy opened Sheldon's mind to the idea of fate versus free will, and how he unknowingly constructed his entire worldview around the concept that his life was written like a TV show. If that wasn't enough, young Sheldon also explains how Leonard Nimoy's Big Bang Theory role was more than a clever Easter egg for sci-fi fans. It was a hidden wink to the fans who were watching The Big Bang Theory and Young Sheldon in parallel. And speaking of cameos, what about Stan Lee? The legend of the comic book world had his own iconic moment on The Big Bang Theory, Season 2, Episode 22, titled The Classified Materials Turbulence, where he played himself and appeared in an unforgettable scene with Sheldon and the gang. We all thought it was a fun little tribute to the Marvel Universe, but young Sheldon just revealed the real reason Stan Lee's cameo was so important. Young Sheldon goes on a mind-bending rant, in typical Sheldon fashion, about how Stan Lee wasn't just an Easter egg or a fan moment. No, according to Sheldon's younger self, Stan Lee's appearance on The Big Bang Theory was actually an artistic decision that served as a symbolic representation of the intersection between Sheldon's scientific mind and the imaginative world of comics. Young Sheldon points out that, much like how comics defy the boundaries of reality, Sheldon's life constantly walks the line between the known, his scientific world, and the unknown, the chaotic human experiences he struggles to understand. The twist? Young Sheldon reveals that Stan Lee's cameo was a turning point for Sheldon, symbolizing his ultimate realization that even science could benefit from creative chaos. It wasn't just a comic book cameo. It was a nod to the idea that even in the realm of rigorous logic, there's room for imagination, and that's a concept Sheldon had to grasp before he could ever understand how human relationships worked. But hold on, it gets even wilder. According to young Sheldon, there's actually a direct connection between Leonard Nimoy and Stan Lee's appearances on The Big Bang Theory that no one saw coming. You see, both of these legends didn't just represent individual fandoms. Young Sheldon reveals that they were placed strategically in the storyline to symbolize two very distinct aspects of Sheldon's psyche. Nimoy representing the structured, logical side of Sheldon's mind, the science, the math, the order, and Stan Lee representing the chaos, the creativity, and the imagination that Sheldon struggled to embrace. In the wildest twist of all, young Sheldon's mini-monologue ties together the evolution of Sheldon's character across both shows, explaining that the real reason these two icons appeared on The Big Bang Theory wasn't to just give fans a treat. No, it was because Sheldon was on a journey to find balance. With Nimoy's calm and calculated Spock teachings, and Lee's wild, unpredictable comic world, Sheldon finally began to understand that science and imagination weren't opposites. They were two halves of the same whole. The ultimate revelation from young Sheldon is that Leonard Nimoy and Stan Lee's cameos were crucial turning points for Sheldon's personal development. As Sheldon's younger self explains, without these pivotal moments, Sheldon would never have been able to unlock the final piece of his intellectual puzzle. And maybe, just maybe, he wouldn't have been able to navigate his complex relationships with Penny, Amy, Leonard, and the rest of the gang. In a heart-stopping moment of clarity, Sheldon's younger self tells us that the reason he's able to function in a world full of unpredictable, often irrational humans, is that he finally learned to embrace the creative chaos that Stan Lee represented, while still holding on to the order and logic that Leonard Nimoy's Spock embodied. This delicate balance is what made Sheldon the brilliant, lovable character we know today. So the next time you watch Leonard Nimoy's iconic signed napkin moment or Stan Lee's unforgettable cameo, just remember, there's a whole other layer to these appearances that you never knew existed. And it's all thanks to young Sheldon. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and stay with us.